that there is no one that wants the bad actors out of law enforcement more than law enforcement itself. I'm the son of a Georgia State Trooper. I've made the joke before that I fought the law and the law won every time. Okay, 6'2", 250 pounds in a blue and gray uniform with a 357 on his hip. I was a scrawny kid from Gainesville. Daddy loved us, but he was in Georgia. He understood that. And he, would come home. I'm the little kid that would watch Dad go out to work, and when he would come home at night, and he'd come in with his uniform torn, blood on his collar. And how does that affect an 8-year-old, 9-year-old kid? That's my daddy. That's the man that to this day, he's 80 years old, he's a big teddy bear now because of grandchildren, that's a big factor. But this is the man that I admire to this day. I am who I am because of him. And what would happen, my dad was a strong man and is a strong man. And one of the interesting things that I always found is when something would go wrong with an officer, and we had an officer in Georgia who was a Georgia State Trooper who I knew personally, and I'm tempted to call it a mistake, it's not, he committed a crime. He had a sexual encounter with someone in his custody, and he's in jail. It's rape. He was punished for it. But you know what was even more amazing to me was my dad's reaction to that. My dad came home and he was upset, he was mad. I could tell it because the chairman talked about how this plays out in the police force. It played out at home. It played out because my dad come home and didn't talk about it. My dad was mad as he could be about somebody tarnishing the badge in the uniform that he wore. There's no one, I believe, honestly, in this country who wants bad actors who do bad things out of the police force more than the police themselves. And as someone who understands this and watched my father live it every day, when he was painted with that broad brush that the chairman spoke of, that I'm glad we're not going to use, when he was painted because of others, then it affects everybody in a high risk, many times low reward area. Some of the things I would love to see us talk about, the thin blue line denotes a separation from order and chaos. It should always be there. No one in our country should not look at our police force and know this is what keeps us all safe, no matter who we are or what our beliefs or what our color of our skin. It is what keeps us different than the rest of the world. A safe, orderly police force that carries out our laws faithfully and executes them to the best of their ability. But too often, I served on that police working group. And I've been all over the country in Georgia and other places, and we have problems in our police force because there's too many folks who are bad actors who get pushed from one job to another. Let's talk honestly, let's talk honestly. You got bad actors who can't make it at one job. They go to another police force, and it's sort of like, yeah, do you know him? Yeah, okay, yeah, he got another job. One police chief is saying, thank God. The other police chief saying, I don't know what I got into. But you know why? Because pay, benefits, the issues of communities. I live in a rural community in North Georgia. My North Georgia kids, who live in some of my smaller counties, they're going to go to work if they can with the sheriff's department, but they're making an amount that they can go 40 miles down the road and double their salary. Or if they can't make it in one of those, they know they can go somewhere else and get another job, no matter sort of what their record is. So as we come to this hearing today, it does need to be a hearing of what I'll call the terrible acts. We need to acknowledge them, and we need to admit that justice needs to be served. But there's nothing about this hearing that all shows the tank that the 98 or 99, whatever percent you want to do, of those men and women who wake up every day with only one responsibility, taking care of their communities and taking care of the lives that they have. And they want nothing more than these bad actors to go away so that they can do their job. And when they lay their head down at night, they know they've done their best. They want to be respected because they have done their job and not because somebody else has acted badly. When that happens, then our law enforcement understands that we respect them, we love them, and we're going to help them where they need help. And for every other 10-year-old kid who watches their dad go out, not knowing if they're going to come home, or when they do come home, they're beat up and battered because they were out helping others. And when they see their dad or their mom upset because their profession, their calling is tarnished by those who would tarnish it, justice must be swift, it must be firm, and it must be fairly applied. Because if not, we lose who we are. We would not be who we are without our police force. We now need to help them make it better. And with that, I yield back.
I thank the gentleman. Without objection, all other opening statements will be included in the record. I want to note that the gentlelady from Massachusetts, Ms. Presley, is here with us, and we thank her for attending. I will now introduce today's witnesses. Gwen Carr is the mother of Eric Garner, who died during the course of his arrest by police officers. As a result of this tragic event, she became a leading advocate for improving policing practices and currently facilitates the This Stops Today program through the nonprofit ERIC, Eliminating Racism and Inequality Collectively. She is here today to share her personal experience. Ron Davis served as director of the U.S. Department of Justice's Community-Oriented Policing Services Office from 2013 to 2017. In December 2014, he was appointed to serve as executive director of the President's Task Force on 21st Century Policing. Prior to serving as COPS director, he was the chief of police of East Palo Alto, California for more than 8 years, and previously served 20 years with the Oakland Police Department. Director